Hello, this is the RPG Crawler, and welcome to a quick look at D&D Beyond. This is very early in beta phase 1 of what is going to be Dungeons & Dragons digital toolset. Supposedly it's going to have online and offline support with mobile apps for a number of things that you can see in these various phases. Phase 1 is going to be a compendium with all of the listings and such of all the monsters, items, and spells. Beta Phase 2 is going to include a character builder and character sheet. That's the one that I'm going to be interested in. And then Beta 3 is going to include homebrew integration and campaign management, as you can see in the little things. Now, I've got some thoughts on this program that will take some getting into, but I'm going to go ahead and do a quick look at the system first. It's not going to be a full review because, as I said, it's really early in beta phase 1, so that the entire thing is subject to change. You can go and sign up for it right now at dndbeyond.com, and I believe it requires a Twitch account because they're teaming up with Curse, and Curse is owned by Twitch, and so on and so forth. And there's some things that might come as a result from that. Maybe, utilizing it in Twitch, but we'll have to see how that goes. Let's go ahead and take a look at what access includes right now. Now, supposedly they're going to get a mobile version, which is going to be accessible offline as an app, but that is not ready yet. So actually opening up D&D Beyond right now is a hell of a lot like just opening up any SRD type of layout. You do get access to forums, and the forums do have various rules and such. You can actually post in a variety of topics there. But the important part for most people is going to be the compendiums and the listings. Now, these include, as it says, all the rules and details that are provided in the open content SRD. Now, the SRD is an adaptation of the earlier SRD that was released in 3.5, and includes monsters and spells that are considered not intellectual or not product identity of Dungeons & Dragons and Wizards of the Coast. It's interesting to note that I personally have found these sorts of guidebooks very useful in the past, these SRD guidebooks. Just for a quick reference, even though I own all of the books. So that may color my perception of this particular program thus far. Right now you have the compendium, which includes, as you can see, very nicely laid out, categorized looks at all of the various rules. You can click on each individual one, like the proficiency bonus. It tells you what the proficiency bonus is. You can go back to the rules, go ahead and get a sense for languages, alignment, pretty much everything that you need to play the game. This will not include secondary rules and such just as of yet. I'm presuming that there's going to be a paid version later on that's going to include more than just the basic rules, but we will have to see how they implement that because that is still not in the beta. They do have a spell listing, and with the spell listing you can see you can actually sort all of the individual spells by filter. You can select a particular class. Let's say you just want to look at all the druid spells, and it'll pop up all of the druid spells. It includes the name, the school, what kind of components it has, casting time, duration, range and area, what kind of save or attack is included, the special effect that if it's got a particular flag on the effect, it'll put it there. And then you have the full write-up by clicking on the page. And it does look like they've got each spell laid out according to certain tags, so that you can go ahead and do a search up here in the spell tags here and get whatever particular spell you're looking for, which honestly could be more useful once they include more than just the SRD. Now, you'll note as I'm going through here that you've got certain little icons here. It's like this, which I believe that requires concentration. As you can see, duration is with a C, 1 minute. Let me take a look, and I believe that's just concentration. I could be wrong. I probably picked the wrong thing to look at here. Animal Messenger. And I'm just looking real quick to see if it has concentration. Oh no, this one's an R, which means it's a ritual. Yeah, ritual spells are marked with an R. Certain areas, for instance, 90-foot range, 10-foot sphere for confusion. So you can actually quick reference all of the range and area by the icons. 200-foot cube, 60-foot range for antipathy, sympathy, which is, I believe true to the description. So yeah, I can see where that could be useful. Now you can select multiple classes here. You have to, and this is something that goes throughout. A lot of these pages, a lot of these listings have multiple icons, and you can actually select multiple icons. So if you've got a multi-class character, you can select from multiple different classes. Or if you just want to select two particular spell lists to look at, you can look at, say, all of the druid and cleric healing spells. Select that, and you can filter them all out, and boom, all of a sudden you've got all the healing spells available for druids and clerics, all in one kind of list where you can go ahead and compare and contrast them. So you'll note that every single one of these, it's got items, and it's got all of the magical items, I believe, arranged from common to artifact, and it uses the color coding just like you'd expect in most MMORPGs. And you can blame the color coding on World of Warcraft because they kind of got so popular and used that color coding, and then every other MMO kind of picked them up, so now they've become sort of standard for the genre. For instance, uncommon things are just green, rares are blue, epics or very rares are purple, and then legendaries are orange. And it just goes all the way through. I don't even know if there are any common magic items, are there? All items. Let's look at common magic items. Okay, there are common magic items, and they're just in black. So that's alright. That's alright. And you can filter these like you could the other spells. Let's take rarity off there. And you can just select, like, I want to see all scrolls. And it'll go ahead and sort them out, and that's a good way to go. I'm actually kind of digging the way that they did that. I know there's some people that complain that you can't order them in certain ways, but honestly, this gets the job done a whole hell of a lot, and you've got an entire advanced filters there, which could stand a little bit of improvement, but it has a lot of different methods by which you can sort things out. And then they also have monsters here, and they've got a complete monster list for, as I said, the SRD. You're not going to see any of their particular IP like Beholders or Illithid in here. You're just going to see your basic monsters. Likewise, any monster variations that include reference to a particular creature that is not open content, you're not going to see in here. But you're going to see pretty much everything else. Now, I've got to wonder, are there some things in here? I haven't really looked through all of these monsters. There's 16 pages of monsters. Seems like a lot. You can actually do quite a bit with that. But I have to wonder if there's anything in... Or I believe this would be in the spells section. Like, you know how in the SRD in 3.5 they translated it to... They filed the names off so that Mordenkainen's whatever became something else. Yeah, they did. See, Arcanist's Magic Aura. That should be like Nystel's Magic Aura. And they went ahead and just generified it. So that's actually pretty good. So it looks like, there's forums, and you can go ahead and take a look. There's, different class forums, various off-topic. There's actually more forums here than when I came to look at it earlier, so there's actually quite a lot of different things going on. And then you can do your usual setting up of your profile and so on and so forth. Notably, it has my subscriptions in here, so I can only assume that there's going to be some sort of subscription-based content in there, which is going to be interesting to see, unless that means something like Twitch subscriptions, where you can or perhaps more appropriately, if you've ever been to Skyrim, you can watch certain creators, and that would be useful if it does it that way. I don't know which one it does so far, because that subscriptions tab has very little in it right now. It just says you have no subscriptions. There's no way to add more. So one other thing to do is that, this says coming soon, but there will be a homebrew area, so you can add and vote on various homebrew additions to the thing. And I'm kind of a mixed mind of that. I can see where it ties in to the DM's Guild kind of setup that they had, but at the same time, in my experience, homebrew has a lot of random crap in it. Even if you sort it by popularity, some of the lamest stuff gets really, really popular just because it's really overpowered and people like it. So we'll have to see how that works. Now, the mobile version, I could record it, but is basically the same thing. There's no app for it yet. You have to go to the site, and it's got a slightly different look to it on mobile, but it's just because the site is mobile enabled. It displays correctly on mobile, which is actually pretty good. I honestly have gotten to the point where I cannot credit a company for automatically doing that. I can't give them the benefit of the doubt on that. So it's good to see Wizard of the Coast actually doing that. So this is very bare bones right now. This is very little other than a searchable, indexable SRD right now, and there are other sites that do that and do that well. I know that, for instance, D20 SRD has had a long history of doing the SRD content ever since 3rd edition, and they have a 5th edition version now. I know the PFD 20 SRD, which is the Pathfinder, which is a Pathfinder site, had another version under their umbrella, this like 5e SRD that covers the 5th edition SRD. So they are out there. Furthermore, this kind of lacks the sort of integration that you'd see with something like Fantasy Grounds or Roll20, and that's of concern right now. And I see a lot of people are bashing it for various reasons, and I can understand why they may believe that Wizards of the Coast is just going to half-ass drop this. First of all, you have to understand that Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition has already been out a few years now. Wow, how time flies. It's already been out a few years. If they'd wanted to support it like this, they should have done it within the first year. Because by now, you've got third parties doing it way better. Even if they include all of the different things that they want to include, at least according to the various phases, I'm not sure how that goes forward with competing in the online marketplace. You've already got that sort of thing linked in with Roll20, for instance. You've already got that sort of thing automatically native with Fantasy Grounds. The free version, if it includes all that, may be useful for those of us who don't pay for the full version of Roll20, or they don't become a contributor to Roll20 and they don't pay for the full Fantasy Rounds or whatever. So it could be useful in that regard. I would like to see how they're going to incorporate the expansion books and how much that's going to be. Because as it is, you have to purchase your Fantasy Grounds or your Roll20 separately from your physical books. So a lot of times, if you play in both real life and in over the internet, you could be buying the same book 2 or 3 times. Depending on what your groups go as. And if this is just one more time to purchase it, that could be pretty awful. Second thing to think about is that this might be useful for people who use it. If they add that offline capability, it could be very useful to use as a tool at the gaming table. I use a bunch of electronics at what few face-to-face games that I play. To manage my campaign and such. I would like to have all of this in one place, an official program that does everything, but it would have to be pretty damn robust to replace the system I already have. My so they're late to the game. I'm not sure how they recapture the kind of market share that they may look for. I hope this does not mean that they're going to discontinue support for other programs, because it would really suck if they discontinued support for like Roll20 and such, trying to boost this. Which let's hope they don't, because that would be a really goofball move for them. We're into just hypotheticals at this point. I've been in the game for a long time. I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons since Redbox. First edition, and then really getting into it in second edition. I have seen a lot of their digital tools, and for the most part, they haven't had a good digital tool since like the 90s, basically, or since, and I think even before that. Their second edition core rules CD was very, very nice, but it came in at the tail end of second edition, so it didn't get a lot of use. But the offerings for fourth edition, I can't really tell you whether they were good or not, because I never actually subscribed to it. One of my friends said they were, the one friend I had that had a full subscription to that said it was neat, but I couldn't justify, because I already had the games. Or I already had the books. I couldn't justify paying additional for the particular tool. Now, I'm in a different place now than where I was financially. I could potentially do a subscription to this if it's made itself valuable enough to do so. And that's just my only concern is are they going to make this valuable enough to do so? Are they going to be able to tie this in with the existing digital tools? Because that would be a make or break for a lot of people. Is if you have to buy stuff all over again, if you've already bought it for like Roll20 or Fantasy Grounds, so would you have to buy, the electronic content all over again? And whether it really does get usable offline, that is going to be a main kicker. That's something that they want to do, and I can see an app doing that. But right now, it says we're in a beta, but all the bug reports and such it's just a website. It is just a glorified SRD website right now. And, they'll build on it. But why even call it a beta at this point if you don't have the app out, if you don't have the standalone content, the offline content out yet? So I don't see where this is going to be a very effective beta unless they're intending to get all of the beta stuff sorted. See, and they don't even tell you what phase they're going to start looking at offline content. It's going to presume online content, and we can do like pretty much the character builder and character sheet are what the main point that I'm going to be interested in. But what's going to make or break it for me, whether I'm actually going to use this or not, is going to be this beta phase 3 where they do homebrew integration and campaign management. Because people have different ideas on what campaign management is. And some people don't really organize their campaigns the same as others. So it's going to have to cover a lot of ground in that instance. Now, the good thing about D&D Beyond is that they are taking feedback. So if you have feedback on how they can change things, go ahead and go get it. Sign up for their beta. Just need a Twitch account. Explore it, and if you have any feedback, feel free to leave it on the forums, because they've got beta testing and feedback right there. So you can make your voice known on the forums. Be courteous, be thoughtful, and tell them what necessary suggestions you have. Because that's how 5th edition got so good, is it had that extended public test, and I think that's what, in fact, they come out and say it. That's what they're trying to accomplish here. So, this is D&D Beyond. I can't really give it a full review because it is right now just an early beta, and it's just basically the SRD site. I will have to come back, and I like how this is arranged. I really do like how this is arranged. I'll have to come back when there's more meat on the bones, though, because right now, as fun, as well as this is for the SRD, I can't see myself using it even as is. I've got better options right now, and but we'll see how they improve. It's well worth looking back. Right now, I'm just going to go ahead and leave it at that. I hope you guys have a chance to check it out if you're into Dungeons and Dragons. Let me know how whether you like it, whether you dislike it, and we'll see how it develops from here. This has been the RPG Crawler. If you like what you've seen, remember to leave a like, comment if you've got feedback, and subscribe for more RPG content. Until next time, take care and goodbye.